Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian, and in today's video, I'm going to look at Madhouse from 1974. And just before I get going, I'd just like to say again, another thank you to Phil. This is the second disc he sent me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anyhow, let's get on with this. Now, this is a co-production with Amicus and American International Pictures. It's considered a British horror film as it was filmed here, but that is the American link, and that, of course, brought in the lead actor Vincent Price. Now, Amicus are more known for doing their anthology horror titles, and this is a complete film, not an anthology. Unfortunately, it's the penultimate Amicus release. There's one more, which is The Beast Must Die, same year released, and that's it. That was the end of Amicus, which is rather sad, but there are various reasons for that. So let's look at this film. If you look on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 40% rating. I suppose that could be a lot worse, as we know with the critics. But putting this into context, it's very much a film that is like Vincent Price looking back at his career because he's going to move on. He leaves American International Pictures and carries on his career in a newer direction, though it's not really a newer direction, but it's a way. Therefore, when you look at this film, he's like giving that last performance. He's no longer doing the Poe films and what have you. And of course, I mean, for me, in this period of time, he'd actually produced some great films, like, well, there's the Witchfinder General, which is just amazing film. And of course, I think in many ways we can look at the other film that, in comparison with this, which was Theatre of Blood, and that performance is just classic Vincent Price. There is the Dr. Phibes films as well, but I think Theatre of Blood is quite an interesting reference point in relationship to this film. Now, this film is directed by Jim Clark, who went on in many ways to be more involved in terms of as an editor. And looking at some of the films he was involved in editing is very interesting. Marathon Man, The Killing Fields, and The Mission. That's a good pedigree. Now, some people perhaps have criticised his direction in this film, and I think it's not really his fault, because the one problem that you have with this film is that it was affected by all the things going on around it, and therefore it makes it more interesting to some extent how Vincent Price is able to raise this film and make it a wonderful treat, because what was going on in the background was not really very good. I mean, the whole script, for instance, was amazing. It was rewritten. It was, incidentally, just before I go on, it was based on a 1969 book by Angus Hall called Devil Day. But it moved on from that. That's where the script originated from. And it was rewritten, all sorts were going on. And even when they'd done some filming, then it was stopped. Then it started again, and it says that there were days that they were literally going on set and the script was being handed to them, and this is the kind of mess they got into with the script. Fortunately, you've got Vincent Price who can do this, and of course Peter Cushing is also in the film, and when he's with Vincent Price, it's an amazing, wonderful, um, scenes in the film. Unfortunately, there are periods where Peter Cushing is not in the film. Um, I don't know the script again. What can I say? It kind of you wonder how they managed to get to the end, and of course the ending has been seen as quite controversial. Anyhow, as it's almost things. Well, what do you expect with the ending? Because they didn't know what they were doing with the script. What were they going to do? But I think the ending's okay. It works how it should be, and you kind of smile. Actually, I do at the ending, and it doesn't detract from it at all. No, I don't think it detracts it. But you can see the weaknesses in the film with this script. However, and this is what makes it so good, is that Vincent Price, just whatever he does in this film, he just makes it brilliant. He's just so good in this film. So what I mean, it takes me back to the Theatre of Blood performance. It really does. The thing is, you don't know with this film. I think he's trying to be more serious in it, but there are bits when he does revert to that campiness as well. So you get a bit of a mixture there in the film, which maybe is the fault of what was going on, because it doesn't know what it wants to be as a film. But as I say, it doesn't matter too much because it is a very entertaining film. I think some people might be confused by it, and there is a confusion there. But it's interesting. He plays this character, Paul Toombs, who on film in his career was known as Dr. Death. And he made 5 films before he had a terrible downfall. He basically, it was stated that it wasn't certain whether he murdered this girl who he was going to marry, this woman who he was going to marry, or, it just sent him mad because he ended up in an asylum, and that's the sort of his downfall. But this story is about he's coming over to England, and he's making a comeback in a TV series as Dr. Death. That is the sort of premise. It's like re-establishing, because his films have built up a cult following, and a lot of younger people are sort of discovering Dr. Death, and this is how he's going to rebuild his career. But of course, the uncertainty about him is, did he really murder this woman? And then when the murders start happening, it's the question of is it him or not? And the film keeps you guessing. You may actually already have your own conclusions, but it's beautifully filmed the way it's done. And say, Peter Cushing is the one he's called a Herbert Flay, and he's allegedly was the writer of these stories of Dr. Death, and he's bringing him over, and he's now saying that he's an actor as well. And we kind of learned that Peter Cushing wanted to be Dr. Death all those years ago, even though he was writing them. So that bit's there, but it's just another interesting take on it. So we've got that. We've got Robert Quarry, who's in it, who plays another leading character, Oliver Quayle. We've got Adrienne Corey, who plays Flay's wife, and she's very sort of weird and creepy. Hey, very weird and creepy. It's a great performance as that as well. We've got other sort of established sort of genre actresses like Linda Hayden. She's in this, and she's very good as well. Always. This is just a nice little cameo by talk show legend Michael Parkinson. Yes, old Parky's in it. Hey, yes, old Parky. He's in it. It's very good. That's what I mean. There's some great scenes as well in this film of the creepiness and just this is what I mean. The mixture of this film, the way it's been put together with the script, the director actually has not done such a bad job from what he had, and that unfortunately is its weakness that the script does let it down at times, but the performance of Vincent Price is so good that I can just sit and enjoy it. I'm not going to analyze it too much and just enjoy it. And there's so many good visuals. The whole sets even are really good. The sets are reminiscent of the period back, the Gothic period almost, and also some of the Poe films that he did as well with Roger Corman going back. It's all in there, and it's interesting that, of course, the Dr. Death character uses extracts from the actual Poe films that Vincent Price was in, and therefore you get an appearance by, on screen, not actually in the film, clips from the film, you get appearance of Basil Rathbone and Boris Karloff. That really adds to the thrill of the film. You go, oh my, yeah, these old legends of horror have popped up. Yes, I mean, it's great. It's fantastic, seeing them on there. But again, it's like an homage to Vincent Price's career at this time. It's like the turning point, the end, I think, to some extent, of this point in his career as the leading role, because the work he often did afterwards was more of a supporting role rather than the lead role. But this is very much the lead. I mean, there wouldn't be a film without Vincent Price in there, would there? I mean, really, it's that farewell in a way, as I said, to him, and he plays it beautifully, and that I think is the strength of this film, really. And then what makes it so enjoyable, and that you think, oh, I'll have to watch that again for his performance. And I actually do that with Theatre of Blood. Theatre of Blood is a film that I've watched over and over again throughout the years. And it's such a great film. The script is just bang on. But Vincent Price, his performance is just fantastic. And seeing that is... it's reminiscent of this, of what he's trying to do in the film, and I think it's great what he's actually done for the film. I just can't really criticize it in that sense. I know I've shown some limitations on it, and there are limitations, but if you just take it for what this is as a film, and with Vincent Price, then you enjoy it. I think that's a good thing about this film. You can enjoy it, and love it, And I think the masks and makeup are really good as well that they use in that. And the gore is not really that much, but it's nice, the bits that they show. It has good. They're good effects, for what they are, and as I say, the background that is really good as well, and I just think it's a great film, really. Yeah, definitely a great film, and a nice ending for Vincent Price in this period of his career. And I think that's, if you've not seen it and you like Vincent Price, then this film is well worth watching. Now, this actual Blu-ray is a Kino Lorber release, and therefore, here in the UK, you'll need a multimedia player. So, if you've got a multimedia player that'll play this region, then you're all right. If you haven't, well, you'll have to try and get yourself one. Yes, but it's a good release, and I say there's some good extras on here and interviews with people talking about the film, as well as some nice trailers as well of all these other films. So it's very good, great release. This, yeah. So I would recommend it definitely. Well, that's it. All his usual stuff. Please subscribe if you want to know more notifications about when I'm actually putting out these videos. Also, if you like it, please give it a like. Please give it a like. Yes. It goes note. Hey, note. Read. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee, and I'll see thee again.